What's good, Poke fam, and welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's having a blessed and wonderful day out there. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today, right? We're going to talk about how you can amass a larger collection. It doesn't matter if it's Pokemon, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh!, a new TCG, Kickstarter, TCG, whatever it is, right? You can build your collection over time, and we're going to talk about how you can do that, some of the stuff I'm doing today, and a few huge tips, and also show you some of the cards that I've been trading for, because trading is very exciting. So while we're on that topic, let's go ahead and touch on trading first, right? So I do buy a bunch of product, but lately I've been doing a bunch of trading on different social media platforms, whether it's Discord server, Instagram, even YouTube, Facebook pages, a lot of different stuff. And to give you some pro tips on that, right? If you have a trade that you're about to lock in, one thing that people ask for is references. So they're going to ask, do you have any sort of history that show that you're a good trader, that you traded this or that, and the person got the product accordingly and how it went, right? That's going to prove to them, well, it should, right? Because you could still be a scammer, but you have to be very, very cautious on that. So what I generally do, if I see something that I want, I reach out to that person. I look at their social media surroundings, right? I look at what's linked to them. I look at all their pages, kind of troll a little bit, right? Try to make sure that they're actually good to go. And I want to make sure that they have some stuff on their page, right? If they have like one photo of that Pokemon card, the names aren't matching up, the profile photo is just a random like dirt bike and there's no face photo or anything like that, then you have to be very cautious, and I probably wouldn't make the deal even with a couple of references because their buddies could be looking out for them. So generally what I do, I have a small circle of people that I trade with repeatedly, and a lot of these cards you see in the background, the Celebi, the Magikarp, the Miriam, even the Expedition Charizard, a lot of high-end trades that I've done, and I've never been burned yet. That's not to say that I won't, right? It happens to the best of us. You just have to be very careful and do due diligence. And there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Some people are willing to ship first. You can use a middleman. I don't suggest that. I've never used one. I never will, because I don't trust the middleman any more of my cards than the person I'm sending them to. It just doesn't make sense to me. You can trade in person. Unfortunately, I live internationally. So if you live internationally, it can be really difficult to trade. But you know, I find a lot of good people on Discord and some of the reputable servers, and a lot of people vouch for them. Some of them are mods. If they're a mod in a huge group and done a lot of deals, I feel a little bit more comfortable, right? So a lot of good people out there. If somebody seems a little bit too aggressive, or it seems like they're really offering their stuff for really cheap, it just doesn't make sense, their cards don't look right, then I probably would just block them, right? I wouldn't even deal with that trade at all. So that's what I've been doing. And I think trading is great because if you don't want to spend money out of your bank account, right, your wife's going to beat you up for trying to buy some Pokemon cards, then it's always great to play with house money, what you have in your collection already that you can trade off for something else that you want and it's desirable. So when I get some of these cards in, or I trade up for something of bigger value, I feel like I purchased the card even though I didn't. So I hope that it's some great information for all of you. The second thing, right, I'm really into Japanese cards. I buy a lot of stuff from Tenzo, Bai. I think I've made about 30, 40 purchases off of there. And a lot of people have been getting into Japanese cards lately. They've been going up in value, and that's for a variety of reasons. I have a lot of friends in Japan. I used to live in Tokyo for a couple of years, so I know how it is. I'm about to take a vacation there very soon. And a lot of people are saying the Japanese market is manipulated to a degree, right? I do agree with that. I do think that a lot of sellers and the customer service is lacking from where, you know, it was like years ago, 2016 or prior era. And I know that to be true because a lot of the mom and pop shops are charging more for the Japanese cards in their country than they are once they're imported into America. So the booster boxes are selling out immediately. You can't get a lot of product. Even in 7-Eleven, the packs will sell out within hours. So they are scalping that stuff now in Japan. A lot of the waifu stuff, they're pushing it, they're driving it. They know what America and the world wants, and they are making money off of it, right? And I'm not blaming them because Americans have been doing that for a while with Pokemon cards and TCGs in general, right? You have a lot of bad people out there that scalp everything, and they really just want to beat people over the head for Pokemon cards. And Pokemon has gotten incredibly more expensive over the last few years, right? It runs in waves. It goes up, goes down. Some of these cards stay up in value, right? Like you have the Umbreon VMAX alternate art. I'm still a little bit skeptical on because I know PSA 10, there's like 5,000 plus copies. So who knows where it's going to go in the future. It's a beautiful card, but the problem with that is that there's so many copies out there, we don't know where it's going to go or land. And a lot of people are hoarding like 3 to 8 copies a piece. So when they get bored of it in the future, if something better comes out, what's going to happen to that card? Now, on the flip side, right, I will say that Japanese cards can carry a premium because people are starting to fall in love with them. The texture is generally better. The card looks a lot shinier. It pops a lot more. And they're also a lot more rare to hit in some circumstances. And some of these cards do not bleed over to the American market. So when you look at stuff like the VMAX Alternate Art Umbreon is Japanese, that card raw is about $1,300 to $1,500. Raw for the English version is about $600. And then when you look at the graded PSA 10s, right, a Japanese one will cost you about $2,400 to $3,000. And that is more than twice a PSA 10 English version. But if you look at the copies side by side, the Japanese one just blows the English one out of the water. And I get it. Some people don't like it because it's not in English. They can't read it. But beautiful, stunning cards. And I'm a collector of both. So I do like to buy from Buy-E. There's still a lot of great deals to be had. And you can go in there and you can search for stuff and you can use Google Translate. Sorry about that. But you can use Google Translate and you can translate it over and you can buy lots of cards. So a lot of times you can get a lot of deals if you buy a lot of cards. And it could be the same card as well, right? Like say the Radiant Charizard just came out and you think that this card is going to go up in the future. Japanese is usually better quality. Say you get about 4 to 8 tens out of that lot, and you might get a pretty decent margin. And right now, a card like a Radiant Charizard on Buy-E is probably about $4 a piece, which is incredibly cheap for a Radiant Charizard. So it is nice to look at lots on there. You can find deals. I use Macari and Rakuten. I do not mess with Yahoo Auctions. I did get burned on there one time, even though I did get my money back. So that's another pro tip, right? So if you are buying from people or different websites out of Japan or whatever you use, I highly recommend using PayPal and or a credit card. Now, I prefer Amex through my PayPal more than PayPal itself because Amex don't play that, right? If you need a chargeback, Amex is going to give you your money within like 10 minutes. So really nice for me, right? Buy-E did not like that, but Amex refunded me immediately the one time I got burned through Yahoo Auctions. But that's one way that you can amass a pretty decent collection, right? Trading up over time. I think one of the biggest things for me is patience. You have to be patient. This stuff does not happen overnight. A lot of this stuff is incredibly expensive. And that's the same with stocks. That's the same with ETFs. Whatever you're doing, mutual bonds, all that stuff is the same unless you FOMO into like PP right now, the meme coin, the new one, the new Shiba for crypto. And it's altcoin season, right? And it just takes off. And you either hold the bag or you cash out and you get some cash and you could put that towards Pokemon as well. But yeah, that's generally what I do. So I'm going to go ahead and show y'all a couple of trades that I got recently. And y'all let me know what you think, right? So some pretty decent stuff. And really, I'm just going for what I like, what catches the eye. Preferably, I like something that's near mint unless it's a really old card that's going to be worth a lot of money and has a couple of dings and whitening. Maybe it's okay for me. But if it's a modern card, I generally want something that's near mint or mint, right? So, and one thing I don't like, y'all let me know how you feel about this, right? I know a lot of people doing trading these days, they always tack on like 15 to 25% for a trade up value. And I think that's really corny, right? I think that's really corny to me because it doesn't make sense, right? If my card is $600 and I'm like, hey, I'm going to trade it at $700 value, what kind of sense does that make? Especially if you reach out to me and you're like, hey, I want your $600 card. And they're like, well, I'm only going to give you 30 because that's what the trade value of that is. But I want 700 for mine because I'm going to go up for that trade value. And then it's just like back and forth because then I'm like, hey, I'm going to go up on my card as well, right? If you go up on yours, I'm going to go up on mine. And then we're going to be matched out and even anyways. So what's the point? But neither here nor there, right? So obviously a lot of people like alternate arts. So we have the Tyranitar V, had to get the big boy right there. One of my favorite Pokemon, and I love this alternate artwork. Right now it's like $100. You cannot beat that for a Tyranitar, right? For alternate art. Dragonite V. This one has came down in price as well. I think it's like $80-$90, but another stunning card, Dragonite V. A banger right here. I sold the Japanese version. Of course, it looked better in Japanese, but the Lugia V alternate art, and this is a really nice card as well. It's not too pricey. I think coming out the gate, it was like $300. Right now, it's like $160. Another cool card. Entei, not worth a lot of money. These are the only ones I pulled, right? I really want the Suicune, but this is a cool card. I love the volcano in the background. One of the legendary dogs, really cool artwork. And I happened to pull two of them. I did open a gym challenge pack. I got the Blaine's Charmeleon, and I got the Blaine Hollow right here. One of my favorite cards in existence is this Koro Mew. Now, this one is notorious for having bad centering. So this one is not centered great at all, but you cannot beat the texture on that card. Just look at the hollow pop. And this card is very old now. This card came out a long time ago. But yeah, the centering is, this was probably OC, right? I would say this might OC with PSA. It's crazy how bad that centering is. We have the Zacian V Deoxys. I just traded for another one of these Charizards. I believe in this one more, obviously, because it's less printed in Japanese. You didn't pull it out of every single premium collection box that you opened. So it is probably a little bit harder to pull. And for some reason, it does look shinier as well. Got lucky and pulled the alternate Miraidon EX. That's a cool card out here in the city just hanging out. So I like this one a lot. Beedrill. This one got really cheap. This card's like 30 bucks. Like 30 bucks. My wife will love that, right? She loves looking at tulips and going out there to the flower fields across Germany. Really nice landscapes out here. So Rayquaza VMAX alternate art. I pulled one of these myself, happened to trade for this one. I pulled this myself, the Crocodile. This is from One Piece, one of the leader cards. And this is the Charizard Radiant I was talking about. These are like $3 or $4 a piece on Buy-E. So if you're looking to make some cash and you want to flip some cards, if you want to sell some cards, and you can buy these in lots. You can probably get like 20 of these for like 80 bucks on Buy-E. Not bad at all. So if you pick up a bunch of them, you can probably clock out a bunch of 10s. And then moving back over to some of the raw cards I have, we have the Sigaleo and Lunala. I like this one. I also have this one in Japanese right over here. So we have two of these. A really, really cool looking card from Sun and Moon era right there. We have Friends in Sinnoh. Traded for this one, the Mewtwo and Mew GX. This is a really cool looking card. I love Mew and Mewtwo together. And I also have the tag team box that this comes inside of. So I think I have like 2 or 3 copies of this. The Snorlax. This one is actually really cheap, but a really cool card as well, but does not cost a lot at all. So I really like this one. We have this from Detective Pikachu. I traded for a bunch of Detective Pikachu stuff recently. I see that stuff's going up in value. And we have these beautiful cards. So we have Meryl, Mew. Then this comes from the Southern Island set. And I've been seeing this across social media a lot these days. A lot of people are actually going for these cards right now. And a lot of them are not in great condition these days. Promo, this is just very nostalgic. Eevee and Mew promo cards. These are not in the best condition. They do have some whitening on the back, but just very nostalgic for me. So some stuff is great binder cards, right? Because just the nostalgia that takes you back looking at some of these is really awesome. So you have the Pichu. You don't see a lot of Pichu cards these days coming out. You have the Vileplume. And I want to get the rest of the Southern Islands collection. You have Honchkrow, my boy right there, just hanging out on that tree branch. We have Fossil Kabutops. This one is also not in great condition. We have another Umbreon right here. We were talking about Umbreon earlier. Umbreon V. That one is cool. Friends in Galar. We have the Zapdos. Lily. I am looking for the other 2 Lily cards and the Delicia. So if somebody has that and wants to trade, reach out to me. I only have this Lily right now, but those cards are pricey. Really, really, really pricey. Red and Blue Tag Team. This is another fan favorite. A lot of people love this card. And then you have Dark Vaporeon, Giovanni's Persian. You have Dark Slowbro, Giovanni Machamp, Scyther EX. We have the Rotom V, Chikorita. Man, all these nice cards. We have a Slowking from the Southern Islands set. Man, look at that artwork. Stunning, stunning. Leafeon. We have the Golurk. Man, this card is slept on, right? Golurk V is slept on. It's a really cool card. Celebi V. I've been trying to pick up a few of these. The Mew V. These are not that expensive right now. But really cool cards. I think these will definitely go up in the future. And Yeah, the reason why I think a lot of the cards will go up in the future, we're starting to see a lot of price swings in Sword and Shield, right? We're starting to see Evolving Skies has hit like $410, which is crazy. In my eyes, that's easily $1,000 box. We see how, Team Up, a lot of the Sun and Moon stuff is starting to go up, a lot of the XY era. And all that stuff is starting to go up. So Team Up was like a $400 box. I was about to pull the trigger. That thing went to like $1,000 or like $1,300 right now. So it is incredibly expensive. If you're trying to pull that Latios and Latios, well, Tag Bolt, it comes out of Tag Bolt. And I think that box is a lot cheaper right now. So last time I checked, because I pulled one out myself, and it actually came out of this box right here. I'll go ahead and show y'all, right? So this is the box that Latios and Latios comes out of. So this box is right around $300. You can get that on Buy-E. If you look for a deal, you can probably get it for $300. And I pulled the Latios and Latios. So if you're trying to get it, that's a better chance than trying to pull it out of a box of Team Up that's like $1,300. So once again, trade for the stuff. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Drop some comments on what y'all would like to see. If you want to see or hear something and we talk about something else in the future. And I appreciate all of you for tuning in, and I'll see y'all soon. Later.